What's up, Bub? Welcome back again to your Heroclix headquarters. Today, we're going to talk about the top 5 Wolverines. So without further ado, let's get to the list. Alright, coming in at number 5 for me for Wolverine, starting us off here is the common Wolverine, actually. From the House of X set, this one was a really good set for Wolverines. There's a lot of good ones. I particularly like the common, though. However, I will say that this number 5 slot could go to a lot of Wolverines, because there's been a lot of good ones, but I mainly wanted to give it to this one for, boom, its team-up card. This team-up card with Colossus is just so good that I thought it alone deserved a spot on the list just for that. So basically, first of all, he has a trait that gives him stealth and improved movement and targeting through hindering terrain, which doesn't really matter anymore, but he's got traded stealth, so that's something. And you've got charge and flurry as a special movement power. So he's pretty basic. You can take a look at the back of his card here. X-Men team ability. I do like the 11 attack precision strike with the exploit weakness, so he can, has better odds of getting through super senses, and he can get through any damage reducers. He does get Battle Fury later, which can also help him get through shape change, so that's cool. He's got a little regen there. Combat reflexes is always great for the stealth, but yeah, mainly charge, flurry, precision, exploit is a great combo. And with the team up card, he's got this special trait here that says listed friendly characters can use telekinesis, but only to place an adjacent Wolverine. When the listed friendly character uses it after resolutions, Wolverine may use charge at no cost. So now it's as free. Anything that used to be at no cost is now as free. So this guy could have been a lot higher up on the list. Due to some rules changes, he's not quite as powerful as he was when he first came out. Because back then, first of all, TK would place 6 squares, so you could have a Colossus next to him that could TK him out 6 squares, then he could charge at no cost, which is not the same as free, it wasn't, so he could charge Flurry, and then he could charge Flurry again, or just take an action to Flurry, do a ton of damage, with the precision exploit and everything, so it doesn't quite work that way anymore, because now it's all, as free, so if you use the free charge, and then use the free to flurry, you can't charge and use the free to flurry again, because they'd be using the same free action twice to use flurry. But he can still attack 3 times. He could still charge flurry for free and then charge on somebody else, or just make a 3rd attack or whatever, which is great. Of course, he doesn't have quite the same reach, because TK is 4 squares now instead of 6, but regardless, still great. Still such a fun thematic team-up card. Just playing with any Colossus, you can just throw him out there. He can charge extra far and, make like 3 attacks in 1 turn, which is amazing. So he's really, really good. I like him for all those reasons. Like I said, at his maximum power level, I probably would have put him higher up on the list. Nowadays, there's maybe a few better Wolverines. If you don't have the team-up card, he's kind of basic. He's probably not even worthy of the top 5 if you don't have that specific team-up card. So for those reasons, he's coming in at number 5 for me. All right, coming in at number 4 is the Fantastic Four Wolverine. Now, I'll be honest, I kind of just put him at number 4, for the memes, because he's the Fantastic Four Wolverine, so why not put him at number 4, right? But I think he actually fits pretty nicely at that slot. I love the sculpt on this one. That jumping action pose is really cool, and you've got like the classic Logan look with the leather jacket and everything, so really cool. Fantastic Four, Weapon X, and X-Men, but you're really only going to want to use this guy on a Fantastic Four team because of all of his traits that work so well with Fantastic Four. So the first one being a new kind of fantastic teamwork. When Wolverine hits with a close attack until your next turn, other friendly characters with a Fantastic Four keyword can use Flurry. So that right there is amazing. Flurry is, of course, one of the greatest powers, letting you attack twice with, 2 close attacks. So there's a lot of good Fantastic Four characters, like the Thing, some Hulks, some Spider-Mans, a lot of, other Wolverines, a lot of great characters that just giving them Flurry. Black Panther also is another one. But yeah, She-Hulk, I can think of a bunch of them now off the top of my head, but yeah, just giving all those types of characters flurry just for having Fantastic Four keyword, basically just he has to hit with an attack, is really strong. Really bumps up the power of a lot of your other characters. I mean, heck, there's even like a Reed Richards that has like Giant Reach 10 that could then flurry. It's pretty nuts. So yeah, there's a lot of really fun things you can do with that. His other trait here says when Wolverine would be KO'd, except by this trait, instead put him on this card with 4 healing tokens. At the beginning of your turn, remove a healing token. When you remove the last one, place him on the map on click number 6, within 4 squares of a friendly character with the Fantastic Four keyword. If you can't, KO him, protected Pulse Wave. So again, really cool trait. He basically never dies unless you have nobody else on your team with the Fantastic Four keyword. So that's really cool. Your opponent has to KO your whole team to basically be able to score him, because he's just going to keep coming back. He doesn't actually get scored because it's when he would be KO'd. I actually had to learn that the hard way once. I didn't realize that I don't think you score him even unless you like wipe the team, basically. So he's pretty nasty. But then his final trait down here, the new Fantastic Four, Passenger 1, but only to carry characters with the Fantastic Four keyword. Once per turn, when Wolverine is carried and placed adjacent to 2 or more opposing characters, after resolutions, he may make a close attack. So again, that's amazing. He can carry other friendly characters with Fantastic Four keyword around, and if he's carried and placed next to somebody, or TK'd and placed next to somebody, whatever, as long as he's placed next to 2 or more opposing characters, he just gets to make a free close attack, which can then trigger his trait when he hits to give people flurry. So very powerful. Then on his special movement power, he's got charge, flurry, sidestep, and when Wolverine KOs an opposing character, after resolutions, remove an action token from him. So a very powerful Wolverine. You got that charge, flurry, sidestep special there with blades, 18 toughness. He's got a bit of regen there. He's pretty crazy on his last couple clicks too, with the 12 attack, flurry blades, battle fury. So yeah, he's pretty deadly down the whole dial. Full dial flurry blades is pretty crazy. Really, really hard to KO him for good. Basically have to wipe the whole team. He's handing out flurry to people whenever he hits. He can make free close attacks when he's placed adjacent to 2 or more characters. What's not to love there? He's got a lot going on. He's pretty decent at 75 points, and yeah, I think he's one of the better versions of Wolverine for sure. Honestly, I think the only thing holding him back is just how specific he is to Fantastic Four teams, because I mainly love to play Wolverine on X-Men teams or sometimes Avengers teams. So, Fantastic Four, I don't usually think to play him too often, but if I do, I'm definitely reaching for this one. So anyway, for all those reasons, he's coming in at number 4. Coming in at number 3 for me is the new Iconics Wolverine. This dude practically just released, I feel like, as of me recording this. Pretty fresh. So I love the sculpt on this one. The classic meme of him just sitting in bed, and you can actually see... the amount of detail there is amazing, where you can actually see the little picture frame and everything. So good. I love this, the meme, everything, 10 out of 10. So this one's really cool, though. He's got, I wouldn't think a figure based off of a meme would be so good, but it really is. They did such a great job giving him powers that make sense and actually make him very playable. So he's only 45 points. He's got this trait, Pining After Jean. Also, note the card artwork. Gotta love that. The attention to detail there is amazing. The back even is like the picture frame. But anyway, so Pining After Jean. When Wolverine starts the game, choose another friendly character to be his crush. At the end of your turn, if Wolverine's crush is within 2 squares, you may heal Wolverine 2 clicks. If Wolverine's crush is not within 2 squares, all other characters within 2 squares modify their attack and damage -1. So that's really nasty. You pick a crush, you basically just, move them within or outside of the 2 squares as you need healing, pretty much. If you need to get healed up a couple clicks, just move them close enough to him. Otherwise, keep them outside of the 2 squares, and he's got a massive debuff of -1 attack and damage on everybody else within 2. Now, note that does include your own friendly characters, so be careful of that. But this guy's great to just run in solo to a group of enemies. You know, he's giving a -1 on all of their attack and damage, so it really makes it harder to hit him with his 18 combat reflexes. Battle Fury is cool, so he can't be encapped, he can't be mind controlled. He can get through shape change that way as well. I wish he started with the precision strike up top so he could get through super senses and shape change. That would be awesome. But yeah, anyway, it's still great. Very good dial there. That's another thing I want to note on the dial. All 11 attacks. The whole dial is 11 attack, which is pretty nuts to me. 18 combat reflexes. Get some toughness there. And yeah, only 6 movement, but that's because they've, been lowering movements and stuff. His other trait here, Rah! Blades, Claws, Fangs. Once per game, when Wolverine uses it, before rolling, you may choose to increase the result by +1 for each character with the X-Men team ability in your KO area. So that's pretty interesting. Traded Blades is nice, so he has the potential to roll blades all the time if he wants to. But yeah, I don't know. If you're playing him on a big X-Men team, that could be really nuts. Late game, it's just him, last man standing. You've got like 6 or 7 things in your KO area that all have X-Men team ability. You're facing down some big 100-point, apocalypse. I don't freaking know. Anyway, then he just rolls blades and says, okay, I'm going to use my once per game +1 for everything in my KO area with the team ability. Okay, take like 15 damage or something. That would be nuts. Like, he could do some massive damage once per game. But it's really kind of a Hail Mary, hopefully that finishes off their last figure to save the day. But pretty cool nonetheless. Locked in his room is really the best trait here, or the best power here, because it's a special movement power. But it does give him some sidestep, so he does have a little bit of moving around powers there. And then it says Wolverine can only be targeted by characters within 2 squares. So that's really the main thing here. It's nearly impossible to take a shot at him unless you're just 1 square away, basically. And, it helps him, kind of gives him some outwit protection. Not really. It's harder to outwit him unless you're within 2 squares. However, they can outwit that special movement power. So that is the main thing you have to kind of worry about. If they run in there and outwit the special movement power, then they can take shots at him all day long from 10 squares away or whatever. So you do have to be careful about that. But otherwise, he's a great Wolverine. Great stats, pretty decent dial length, has the potential to heal like 2 clicks a turn if he's close enough to his crush, or he's giving a massive debuff and can't be targeted unless they're within 2 squares and stuff like that. So he's really great to just kind of run out there solo and do his thing and run back for some healing when necessary. And I don't know, he plays pretty great. I love the sculpt, I love the meme, I love the attention to detail in the card and everything. He's only 45 points, so he's not breaking the bank at all. He's a great version of the character. So for all those reasons, he's coming in at number 3. All right, coming in at number 2 for me, for Wolverine, is the Shield Wolverine from Avengers Fantastic Four Empire. Mine is really ugly looking too. I don't know. I think I got an extra bad one. But anyway, yeah, he's got that Shield uniform on. Pretty cool. Now, technically, I know this is like a what if Wolverine. Literally on the back of his card, it's like, what if Wolverine was an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.? But I don't know. Wolverine, he's been with every team. He's been an Avenger. He's been a Fantastic Four, X-Men, Alpha Flight, X-Force. He's teamed up with Spider-Man. He's teamed up with basically freaking everybody. It's not that big of a stretch to me that he worked with S.H.I.E.L.D. at one point in time. So I don't really think this is much of a huge what-if scenario. I'm pretty sure he's worked with S.H.I.E.L.D. a few times in the main universe. I don't remember off the top of my head right now. Regardless, he's still got X-Men keyword. You can still play him on that team if you want to. He just plays so much like a Wolverine. He's just so good. I just kind of had to break my little rule there of, no alternate versions. Because it doesn't really feel like an alternate version to me at all. It's just from a what-if comic, but not that big of a deal, I think. But anyway, getting into what he can do here, he's got the tracking the target trait that says, at the beginning of the game, choose an opposing character as Wolverine's mark. Whenever the character moves, after resolutions, you may move Wolverine up to 2 squares. If Wolverine's mark is KO'd, choose a different opposing character to be a new mark. And it got errated at some point. Actually, I think they errated that part of it just to say that, like, at the end of your turn or beginning of your turn or something, if there is no mark, choose another one. Something like that. Because of the swap-in shenanigans with the X-Men swaps, you could technically bring him in. He can miss the beginning of game timing altogether and never have to choose a mark because it was never KO'd and he was never there to pick one in the first place. So that's why they had to errata that slightly. So he's not as broken as he used to be. Otherwise, he could probably be number one. But his next trait here is why he was so ridiculous, because Wolverine can't be targeted until he has made an attack this game or is adjacent to his mark. So he was completely untargetable until he chose to be, which he's only 50 points. So that's pretty nuts. And you can see he's got some pretty crazy stats there. But we'll just take a look at his last trait here. I heal, do you? When Wolverine hits after resolutions, he can use regeneration as free. So I think that's pretty interesting. He doesn't actually have regen or any other form of healing, but he gets a free regen every time he hits with an attack, which is pretty cool. Shield team ability is nice to have. That's a great team ability. But yeah, 50 points. You got that 8 movement charge, 12 attack with blades, and he's just got like 12, 12, 12, 12, 11, 11. Like, his attack value is insane across the dial. Some toughness, some exploits, get some flurry, blades, combat reflexes, and power on the last half. So yeah, he's able to deal a lot of damage. That 12 attack for most of his dial is nuts. And yeah, I like him a lot. He's just really hard to target. You choose a mark, and then as long as he hasn't made an attack or isn't adjacent to his mark, he can't be targeted. So your opponent can just, pick whoever you picked as the mark. They can just run up there next to him, and now they can target him so they can shoot him or whatever. But otherwise, if you manage to keep him away from the mark, every time the mark moves, you can move him 2 squares. So you could try to like break away and get out of there. So that is nice. But yeah, I love equipping this dude with like anything that gives him poison. Like most recently, the Red Lantern ring. There was also a Mandarin ring that gave like plasticity poison, which is great. Just because I like to run him up there adjacent to somebody else and just kind of sit there and poison them and not make an attack until I absolutely have to. But yeah, he's great. He's one of the sneakiest Wolverines we've got. He's got such a great, attack dial, with all the 12s and everything. A lot of healing. Every time he hits, he gets the free regen. He just feels very Wolverine-y to me. Even if he is technically from an alternate universe. But I don't care. Like I said, I'm sure he's worked with S.H.I.E.L.D. several times, so it's not really a big deal. I like him a lot for all those reasons. He's coming in at number 2. All right, as always, before we get to our number 1 pick, we have a few honorable mentions to look through. There's a lot. There could be a lot more. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on all these. There's just a lot of really good Wolverines we've got recently. So I wanted to talk about a few of them. I'm pretty sure I had this guy pretty high up on my last list, like number 2 or 3 or something. But the one from Regenesis is pretty crazy. You got toughness, and when he clears, he can heal. He's got stop clicks with combat reflexes and super senses. Pretty long dial. 120 is a lot nowadays, though. Good values and powers most of the way through. And if you play him on the Jean Grey School of Higher Learning, he just gets free heal a click. So a little bit better than whenever he clears. But yeah, he's fun. Like him a lot. The yellow base is really cool too. And then all of the ones from Regenesis were great, actually. There were some prize figures. Also the one with the same sculpt that you could like paint yourself. That one was really cool too, from that Deep Cut set or whatever. Also, all of the other ones from the House of X set were really cool too. The one from the Fast Forces is great. He's got this cool thing. He's got charge and free. If he occupies hindering, you can place him in a square of hindering within 3 in line of fire. He's got the traded stealth still. He's got a stop click with impervious. So I'd mainly play him at the 50 because you get the stop click either way right there on the second to last click. If he randomly takes like 1 damage, you could regen up off of that again. But regardless, pretty cool. You don't get the placement power unless he's at 75. So that's a good reason to play him at that point value. He's fun. I like anything with a stop click is always going to be good. This Wolverine is also great. The uncommon version, traded toughness. And he takes a maximum of 3 damage from attacks. And then at the beginning of your turn, you can heal a click. So he's a very tough Wolverine at either 100 or 50 points. he's going to take, you know, max 3 every time. So he's going to take at least 3 hits to KO at 100 and at least 2 hits to KO at 50. And, you know, he's healing 1 click every turn, so that's pretty cool. I like him a lot. Like I said, really hard to get through him. Another one, all of the Wolverines from the Avengers Fantastic Four Empire set were also really, really good. I like this one a lot for the stop. This was the starter set one at 45 points. Just pretty simple, charge, blade, toughness, but he's got a stop click. You know, not bad for 45 points. It's easy to get in a start set. And then you also have the common version, which I also love the common version from this set as well. Traded regeneration, and he can use it as free if he has 2 action tokens. And this one also has Avengers, Fantastic Four, and X-Men, so he fits on like every team. This is a really great Wolverine if you're just starting out. It's going to be super cheap to buy since he is only a common. But yeah, he's got 75 points, you know, just charge, blades, exploit, some invuln. Fantastic Four and team player is really cool. And then I really love this Wolverine also from that same set. It was the number 100 play at home kit, I believe. He's got like every keyword ever. At the beginning of your turn, you heal him a click and you can roll a d6. On a 4 through 6, you can heal him a click for each distinct printed team ability shown by Wolverine and all adjacent friendly characters. So that's really neat. You can get a lot, you know, he's got Avengers, Fantastic Four, and X-Men team abilities, so you can potentially heal 4 clicks in a turn, which is pretty nuts. And you got Charge, Flurry, and Stealth on his special movement power. Coming in at 100, 60, or 30 points. I like him at all the point values. He's, you know, a threat at any one of them. He's great for the X-Men team ability as just like a healing battery for other characters because he's constantly healing a click on the cheap 30-point line. But yeah, he's a lot more deadly on the 60 and 100-point lines. I like him a lot. He's a really fanboy Wolverine, super fun. But then the last one here, another very fanboy kind of Wolverine, is the rare one from the X of Swords storyline event. Not the main set. I don't really like that one as much, but the storyline event one, it was really good. So he's got the Sword Bearer. He can start for 5 points with any sword equipped. Improved movement characters is really nice. Then he's got traded willpower, and whenever he rolls a 5 or 6 for a single d6 roll after resolutions, you can remove an action token from him and heal him a click. And he's got a lot of single d6 rolls we'll take a look at. For one, he's got Impervious, Super Senses, and Protected Outwit on his special defense power. And then you can see here he's got just Charge. You got Leadership starting out on either the 145, 95, or 55 point lines. So you got Leadership, and if he gets that, 5 or 6, you can remove an action token from him and heal him a click. You've got Impervious and Super Senses. Again, if he gets either of those, remove an action token, heal him a click. And he just kind of cycles between Impervious and Super Senses when he doesn't have the combo there. He's got, you know, if you equip him with any sword, he's got a full dial of Blades Claws. So whenever he attacks, rolls a 5 or 6 on Blades, remove an action token, heal him a click. And yeah, and then the willpower also. You can potentially remove 2 action tokens from him and heal him a click whenever he rolls willpower. So yeah, pretty awesome. I really like him a lot. He has a lot of points, but man, he was so good in the event. And oh, technically also X-Men team ability, if you really wanted to. You could take a power action for that. If he rolls a 5 or 6, remove an action token, heal him a click. So pretty awesome. Really like all these Wolverines a lot. I definitely thought about putting a lot of them on the list at various places, especially I would say this one from X of Swords with the katana there, that Muramasa blade, very cool. I also thought about putting this guy on the list. That play at home kit Wolverine at 100 points is so cool. And this guy, still a lot of fun. Still like him a lot, just for the stop clicks and everything. So yeah, and very cool. I like the action pose on that guy a lot. Anyway, that's it for all of these honorable mentions. There's also some great ones in the Dark Phoenix set, the animated series set, and there's a lot of other good Wolverines right now too. So point is, we're doing really well on Wolverines, but without further ado, let's get to my number 1 pick. All right, the best there is at what he does, bub. We've got the Xavier School Wolverine. I still think this is the best one. I really tried. I really thought about it. You know, we've had a lot of other great ones come out, but I don't know. This one is just so definitive to me. I mean, let's take a look at that sculpt first of all. I didn't pull him up here yet. So yeah, that sculpt is absolutely amazing. By far, 10 out of 10, the best Wolverine sculpt we've ever had in Clicks. You can fight me on that if you want, but you know you're going to lose because this thing looks freaking amazing. So by sculpt alone, he wins all of that. But I just always felt like this was the definitive Wolverine to me. You know, spoiler alert, if you watched my other top 5 Wolverine from a few years ago, he was my number 1 then. Like I said, I really tried. I really thought maybe, you know, maybe the new Iconics is better because he's only 45 points. Maybe the Shield one is only 50 points. I don't know. I can't do it. I just like this one more. I still do to this day. I think he's by far the most deserving of a legacy card. But regardless, let's take a look at what he can do. Improve movement for hindering no longer matters. But he does have the Headmaster trait, which gives him leadership and perplex, but only to target another friendly character with the X-Men keyword. During force construction, you may include one student ID card on your force without adding its cost. Now, that doesn't matter anymore either, because even in Silver Age, the student ID cards and all the ID cards, they're all banned. So you can't even use that in Silver anymore. But for its time, it was amazing to just get a free 3-point student ID card on your team. So that was nice. But yeah, leadership traded, perplex to target other friendly characters on your X-Men teams was nice too. And then you've got stay away from my students, free, make a close attack, but only to target an opposing character that damaged another friendly character with the X-Men keyword with an attack since your last turn. So he's got a little bit of like a retaliation effect going on. It doesn't place him anywhere, but still it's a free attack on anything, on any opposing character that damaged another friendly character with the X-Men keyword. So it can't be him, unfortunately. But if anybody messes with any other, you know, X-Men on your team, he can just run over there, you know, full movement, just run over there and attack them. Or he could charge on them and then get a free attack on them also. So that's really good because it gives him some more attacks every turn, even if he's double tokened. You know, if you got a couple people next to him and they make the mistake of hitting another one, he can still free attack. But then his other trait here, a different kind of professor, gives him sidestep, and if Wolverine is closer to an opponent's starting area than his own, he can use flurry. Otherwise, he can use combat reflexes. So I love that so much. That was actually so much fun. I used to use them a lot back in the day, and just being able to kind of play the middle line of the map, right? You charge in there, get flurry on somebody, sidestep back, so you're just barely over the line on your half, and you get the combat reflexes back. It was so good. It's a really cool trait. I love that kind of aspect of, like, you know, if I'm more in enemy territory, I'm more offensive. If I'm more in my territory, I'm more defensive, kind of thing. It was kind of fun. Just being able to, like I said, play that line there, just sidestepping, charging over and sidestepping back over is really cool. And then you've got stop regeneration. I'm still Wolverine. I love that. If I would ever to give this guy a legacy card, I would give him, you know, the traded leadership and perplex, maybe empower instead of perplex or something. I would also like to keep the free attack for basically anybody that gets hit would be nice. I'd give him like Avengers, Fantastic Four, you know, give him some more keywords. I like the other trait a lot, so I'd probably just keep that as is. Sidestep if he's closer to an opposing starting area, flurry, otherwise combat reflexes, and then maybe give him some toughness on the regeneration clicks. I really don't think there's a lot you need to do to make him like still playable today. We'll take a look at the dial here. 150 or 50 points. You know, some charge there, and he's still got traded sidestep when he doesn't have charge. He's got flurry the whole time, depending on where you are. He's got combat reflexes the whole time, depending on where you are on the map. But yeah, full dial blades. I do kind of wish he started with a little exploit weakness, maybe. That would be nice too, but otherwise, you know, 3 stop clicks at 150, or at 50 points, you still get a stop click. So yeah, he was pretty deadly back in the day, just for 50 points. You know, charge flurry blades with a stop click, pretty nasty. You know, with the leadership, perplexing other people, potentially a free attack. You know, he was definitely the best call-in Wolverine by far because of all those free attacks and flurry and everything. And like I said, he just does so much. He's so much fun. The sculpt is freaking 10 out of 10. I haven't liked any other Wolverine as much as I've liked him. As much as I wish I could put a different one at number 1. Like, you could definitely make an argument for, like, Shield Wolverine, but then I feel like that's not the number 1 to me because, you know, he's a Shield Wolverine. The Fantastic Four, same thing. He's a Fantastic Four Wolverine. I usually play him on X-Men or Avengers, maybe. But yeah, the meme one is great, but it's it's a meme. I don't want to put that at number 1 because it's a meme. I don't know, even though he's great. And there's so many great Wolverines, like I said. But anyway, that's it. I love this Wolverine still to this day. I wish it would get a legacy card, or I wish they would somehow improve upon the same kind of formula there. But anyway, for all those reasons, that's why for me, he's coming in at number 1. That does it for another top 5 list. As always, if you enjoyed it, make sure you slash the like button and cut the subscribe button. And if you'd like to help support the channel even more, make sure you check the links in the description for the Patreon so you can see our name here in the credits, bub. But that's gonna do it for this one. Until next time, this has been Heroclix Headquarters signing off.